Alright, hi everyone. Hello, welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's the first video of 2025, and since you are very near to CNY, you might be watching this during CNY. Wishing everyone a bountiful, prosperous, and exceptionally good health in this 蛇年，什么都有，什么都敢要，什么都可以。Okay, let's continue to our video for today. We are going to talk about one of the biggest launch in 2025. Biggest in terms of its size, very massive. Biggest in terms of the number of units, very massive. And biggest in terms of a very big township called Tampines. Okay, so Tampines can really be divided into north, to the east, to the west, and today we are particularly tackling the northern part, whereby later I'll show you how the government has changed the whole residential outlook for the northern part of Tampines, where back then when I was just probably in university or even going to university army days, the area is forested. There's nothing there. The latest thing back then was IKEA, Giant, and maybe Courts. And then subsequently now, if you go there, right next to TPE, right, you can see a lot of HDB coming up in that area, and the massive launch called Parktown Residence. Alright, one more thing. If you like my content, please help me to like and subscribe. And I realize that some people have hard time trying to find my video, so you can search Gary Peg. Then you search the project name that you want to find. Then you should be able to find me on YouTube. Scroll a bit lah, because I got not enough views, right? So please help me. Thank you. Okay, so today's content. First, we're going to talk about the project information. What can we expect out of Parktown, and then the location, the transformation that I said for Tampines North area. How different it is right now. It's a bit like a maze if you drive in, if you're not used to the new area. But it is very well architected, I would say, for the HDBs clusters in the area. Of course, then we have talk about the site plan and the convenience being a 7-in-1 fully integrated, you can't even say integrated, fully integrated development. What can we expect out of it? Of course, we'll talk about the supply analysis in the whole of Tampines. Not many condos in Tampines area to begin with, to support such a huge township. And then from there you can see the number of condos that I listed down. Of course, we'll talk about the layout comparison. Layout wise, please bear with me. This is 1,195 or 93 units, super a lot of different layouts. I will try to condense and concise into the ones, especially some of my viewers, they are also going for the balloting. They really want to find out more. Okay. And then I'll talk about the price analysis, what to expect from the previous launch, developers' mindset, and what is the kind of prices that we can be expecting. And exit strategy, of course, definitely talk about what is in the area, what is upcoming. And finally, some of my recommendations and conclusion for this video. Okay, so let's go on to the first one. Project information, project name, Parktown Residences. Interestingly, it's actually by very strong, reputable developer, UOL Group, Capital Land Development, and Singapore Land Group. So having UOL on board also means that the layout will be very efficient, very nicely done, because they are very familiar with doing residential projects, very well known, very nice residential projects. Of course, then we have Capital Land, likely to come in to manage the malls, and they are very good at that because they have a few anchor tenants that they can bring in from the other malls. Okay, then next, of course, the description. There's 12 blocks of 6, 7, 8, 11, 12 stories. So there are various stories, a bit like a staggering kind of outlook. If you actually go down to the show flat, which will start preview on the 7th, you can see the different in the levels in the different blocks, with a landscape deck, basement car park, and communal facilities. Mixed-use development comprising of 1 story of a podium consisting of retail, commercial, community club, hawker center, and a bus interchange. Of course, it is also connected to the MRT, the Cross Island Line, which is slated to be ready in 2030 and connects you from the airport to Ang Mo Kio and all the way to the west. So literally cross the whole island. Region is OCR District 18. Tenure is 99 years leasehold. Estimated land area is 545,512 square feet. Just imagine if you've been to Woodleigh Mall, if you've been to Next, it is double that size. So it is really a very huge plot that probably the largest in Singapore. I don't think North Park Residence is as large, even though it has a integrated bus interchange and connected to the MRT as well. Okay, number of units 1193. Okay, vacant possession 30 June 2030, and there are estimated 961 lots, of which 10 are electrical and 7 are accessible lots. Okay. Next is the upcoming location. Okay, like I mentioned, this is in Tampines North area, right above the Cross Island Line, Tampines North Station. And if you realize, Tampines is probably the only town that has four different MRTs. The east west line, the old one, the Tampines East, Tampines West, and then now we have Tampines North. So you have 3 stations on the downtown line, and then 1 station on the Cross Island line. So you have 3 different kind of MRT lines serving this township, which is very massive. I dare to say that if you go to Tampines on a Saturday or Friday night, Saturday, or even Sunday, right, the whole of Tampines Central is super packed, super crowded. Okay, if you notice, for Parktown, it is actually surrounded by a lot of HDB clusters. They are in the red circle. Okay, not box, red circle. And why do I want to highlight this? Because as always, there are organic source of demand. There are always organic source of demand or upgrade from the HDB upgraders. And also potentially there are also EC upgraders from the nearby Oriel or Tenet. And so is maybe some of the ECs like Trillion as well as City Life that's nearer to the MRT. As time goes by, especially when this project were to obtain TOP or even the vacant possession in 2030, some of the projects here will be more than 10, 15 years old. Some of the owners might be looking to change. And I realized one thing about living in a very big township. For example, like I have served clients in Punggol and Sengkang. They actually like to move back into the same area because they are very comfortable. They like the lifestyle there, and also maybe they are near their parents or their kids are still in the school in the area. So likewise, I think Tampines is a very common trend that's going to happen. People that stays in Tampines will want to buy back into Tampines area, and they want to buy something newer down the road. And this is where, especially that the transactions data I can show you at Trillion as well as the City Life, they have very strong resale transactions, and this could help to support the buy-in prices in the secondary market of Parktown in the future, in the subsale market as well. Okay, so number 3, let's talk a bit about the site plan. It is actually quite a massive site plan. It is divided into Park West and Park East. Okay, and then there is a green boulevard in the middle that allows for public to walk through at the ground level. Of course, they can't access to your private residential area. And also, if I recall correctly, the architect's design is to allow wind flow from the top to right down to the bottom with this green boundary or green walkway through the development. As you can see, the units are evenly scattered across the different unit types are evenly scattered between Park West and Park East. And if you look at my screen on the right side, okay, there is also what I meant by 7-in-1 integrated is that it has, if you come down one level, you have a community center, you also have a hawker center, okay, you have a greenery kind of landscaping, you can access to the bus stop. And finally, of course, most important is that there is direct connection to the MRT at the basement. And this is quite a rare product to find. The nearest one that I can think of, maybe Watertown at Punggol, and also North Park Residences at Yishun. And likely a similar concept would be at Reserve Residence in Beauty World. So not many towns, the government has actually demarcated the land to do something like that. So it will be a very unique product. And I always feel that like one of my managers always mention that yes, you are paying not just for the house but also for the convenience. You're also paying for the safety. For example, when I talk to buyers about why they like fully integrated developments, is basically because their kids don't have to cross the road to go to school. They can just take the MRT, go to the bus interchange. Even if they were to get food, they can just go downstairs. They don't need to cross the road. So they have less worry about their kids' safety concerns. And also, it is very, very, very convenient once you have a chance to live in such a fully integrated development. Okay. So it has full facilities as per the site plan. Okay, so you have your barbecue area, you have your tennis court, you have your pool area, you have your clubhouses, and I won't be surprised that the landscaping would be top notch, because it will be like a project at any UOL project similar. Okay. If you want to see more of the actual or the simulated model, you know who to contact. I can make you the arrangement. Let's go down for the preview. I am very sure I have seen the show flat already. I am very sure you'll be quite wowed by the massive the whole size of that project lah. That I witnessed. And I actually also drove to the actual site. Highly recommend you to drive down to the actual site. You can see how big the land area is, and how because it has been hot up already. And then you can also see surrounding all the newer HDBs, and they definitely will lack amenities, and therefore Parktown will be the top of the town in that particular precinct of Tampines. Okay, supply analysis. So we focus on the project itself. How are the units being broken down? Then I also deep dive, do a bit of homework for my viewers to compare with the different condo projects in Tampines, and then you can see the certain percentage difference in the unit types of various condos. Okay, so basically, for Parktown itself, it starts off with 1 bedroom plus study, and this is a very common starting size since the launch, probably from Emerald or Katong and Chuan Park onwards. 1 plus study is a very common layout, okay, because of its harmonization considerations. Okay, so there's 73 units of 1 plus study, 2 bed, 1 bath, there's 160 units. 2 bedroom premium, there's 292 units. 2 bed plus study, there's 134 units. 3 bedroom compact layout with 2 bath and no utility, there is 135 units. 3 bedroom premium, there is 158 units. 3 bedroom premium plus study, there is 115 units. 4 bedroom, there's 57 units. 4 bedroom premium, there's 47 units. And the 5 bedroom, which always has the least, has 22 units in this whole development. How does it compare with the condos in this area? Okay, so if you notice, I have done up a comparison across the various unit types versus the individual condos. There are actually, let me count out, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 different condos, including Parktown, in the whole of Tampines. Okay, of which they have various unit types, of which there is Trillion is a resale EC. City Life is a resale EC. Park Central will be a resale EC in another 4 years time thereabouts. Okay, so in this resale EC segment, there are definitely no 1 bedroom or 1 plus study, or even 2 bed, 1 bath. Usually they start from minimally 2 bed and 2 bath. Okay, so if you were to compare on the 1 bedroom segment, okay, the Alps actually shows the least number of 1 bedroom in the condo in the condo comparison across from all the condos in Tampines. And the 1 plus study, surprisingly, is Parktown Residences. And then if you look at 2 bed, 1 bath, it is Treasure at Tampines. Surprisingly, there is 2,000 plus unit, but they have the least percentage of 2 bed, 1 bath. And 2 bed, 2 bath is obviously City Life. City Life is a resale EC. Resale EC back then in government's direction is always 3 bedroom, 4 bedroom favored. Potentially if they have 5 bedrooms, but very rare. So that naturally there's very little 2 bed, 2 baths. So if you look at the next comparison, I think to be fair would be 6.9, which is Tapestry. Tapestry has also very few 2 bed, 2 bath units in the whole of its condo itself. And the 2 plus study, also Tapestry having the lowest percentage at 3.4%. Okay, and the 3 bedrooms, surprisingly, even though I consolidated both the compact and the premium, it has still the lowest percentage as compared to the rest of the condos right here in Tampines. Okay, the 4 bedroom lowest percentage is at the Alps, and the 5 bedrooms lowest percentage, I think we can safely incorporate Parktown into it, and that is probably why developers want to add a bit more into this segment, because there's literally not many. In fact, if to support this whole township, there's only 223 5 bedrooms in this Tampines itself. So what does this mean to you? To me, it feels that the supply of the bigger units in Tampines is not that significant, might not be sufficient to support the whole of. Later you can see how many total number of HDBs and how many new clusters there are. I think there might be not sufficient to support because 5 bedrooms, bigger units, they usually buy to stay. So in the resale market, there is also not easy to find. So what does this mean? If you have the budget, if you can afford, and if really fits your family requirement, it'll be very safe to get a 3, 4, 5 bedroom, definitely for sure. But of course, if you have budget concerns and you want to buy for own stay, and you really like the location of Parktown, and you really like the efficient layout of Parktown, which we can see later, I think the 2 bedrooms or the 1 bedrooms are also worthy to look at, because the product itself is just very unique in this whole Tampines. And in fact, probably in the whole of Singapore, you don't find a similar comparison, or not as of now lah. And on top of that, this is just my own opinion, I also find it interesting that Tampines Central only has 2 condominiums, which are 2 resale ECs. They could have toyed with the idea of putting this Parktown at Tampines Central, but they didn't want to, which is actually quite a fruit for thought. Maybe because the land there is more expensive and the government wants to keep it for the future, so they probably test bed Tampines North first. They put in this project. They see whether it is well taken up by consumers, by homeowners, and if it's good, maybe they want to do one more at Tampines Central. Who knows? Or maybe Tampines Central area could be a HDB cluster. Nobody knows. Okay, so anyway, coming back. So basically, there are a total of 12 condos, including Parktown, excluding the Tenet and Oriole, which is yet to TOP in Tampines Township. Okay, so when I do up this, it allows you to spot out the lower supply of each unit type for each condo. And interestingly, as I mentioned, Parktown has the lowest for 1 bedroom. If you want to do an investment, I think that is fine, because want to find another 1 bedroom in Tampines, probably the closest comparison would be at Treasures at Tampines, which would be a far comparison from Parktown lah, because of the convenience. Whereas Tampines Treasures at Tampines is really at the other end of corner of Tampines. Okay, then 3 bedrooms are also interestingly the lowest percentage in the whole of Parktown, and also the 5 bedroom category. And as I mentioned, the other unit types, I think to supersede this percentage of supply is Parktown's uniqueness in terms of location, convenience, right above MRT, that will outshine the rest of the condos in Tampines, which lack this important feature. Because if you go to Tampines West area, you can see there is a whole row of condominiums, but then that doesn't really it's not really near the MRT, and convenience wise is also not as well compared to Parktown. And then if you look at Treasures at Tampines, which is on the other side, near the Round Market, near Safra, it is also not as convenient. Yes, you might be able to walk to Simei MRT instead. I have tried before, but right above the MRT, such a product is lack of in Tampines itself. So I think this will be a game changer for the whole of Tampines Township. Next up, we go number 5. Let's go to the layout comparison. Okay, so you can see that the one bedroom layouts, there are 4 different types, okay, of which they are all 1+ study. The main significant difference is on the left side, you see that the study is in between the master bath as well as the bedroom. Okay, but whereas on AS2, 3, and 4, the study is literally a corner next to the dining area. If you ask me, in the resale market, in the past 9 years, I have probably seen thousands of houses, but I don't recall seeing a layout like that. So this is quite refreshing. This is quite new. This study could double up as a storage room instead. Feel more like a utility room, which is also useful for couples or singles or tenant that always have this little issue of trying to find storage in one bedroom layout, and then they end up having to buy storage boxes. They have to buy storage solution, whereas this one, the study can double up as a study maybe, and as well as a storage, especially if you have bulky items. Like a close friend of mine, he has a snowboard equipment, he really need a storage space. So likewise, if you travel often, you have 2 or 3 luggages, I think this storage space, this study area comes into good use. It will be different from some of the layouts in Tampines, or rather some of the study layouts that I've seen, which is just a cutout. So like a cutout in the living dining area or right beside the kitchen, which is not very useful as compared to something like this. Okay, so it's either left or right side, and it's quite sizable because it is about 1.25 meters in width and then a 1.8 meter in length. Okay, next is the 2-bedroom layout, 2 bed 1 bath layout. I think this will also be a very popular layout, okay, especially for consumers who are looking for something affordable within Parktown and they want to own stay. I think this would be a very popular layout because firstly, it is a dumbbell shape, very efficient in size. Okay, and then that will means that the 592 square feet is very efficiently used. It sounds small, but actually it is not. Not forgetting that this is a harmonized plot. So if we work backwards, right, it should be a 603 or 614 square feet for the non-harmonized for non-harmonized plots. Okay, so come in straight up. Why some of my clients they look at this is because of course is a gallery kitchen. You can't change that. That is also depends on the lifestyle of younger buyers nowadays. Some of them they don't really cook that much, or they do very simple cooking, so they don't really need an enclosed kitchen. Okay, most importantly is that this is efficient for singles or couples because the bedroom 2 can be used as a study area, work from home station, or for storage. And then they have their master room on the left side for them to rest for the day. And the best part is there is a segregation in the middle because it's the dumbbell layout. So literally, if somebody is working at home or somebody don't want to be disturbed, there's this space in between, rather than the rooms being next to each other side by side like the classic 2 bed 1 bath layout back in the launches of 2017, 2018, and 2019. Another popular layout is a 2-bedroom premium. Okay, 2-bedroom premium, which means that there's 2 bedroom and 2 bath. And I would say it's a popular layout because you can see that sometimes it's not easy to get a BTO in a Tampines area, rather competitive. It can be oversubscribed by 2, 3, or 4 times. So these couples that usually can afford a BTO like around 500 to 600,000. I'm sure if you do a TDSR calculation, they can also roughly enter into such a purchase of a 2 bed 2 bath. And also it is quite a good starter pack for young families because you have 2 bathrooms, you have an enclosed kitchen, okay, and you also have a spare bedroom for your child if they grow up. Maybe during the infancy stage, your helper can sleep with your kid. If not, the kid can sleep with you in the master room. You can still have a helper's quarter in the second bedroom. And then subsequently, as your kid grew up, you might want to leverage on this to upgrade to a 3 bedroom or to a 4-bedroom in Parktown itself. Okay, so why this layout is also quite interesting, or rather favorable, is because I have seen it at the show flat. No lah, because because firstly, when you walk in, right, your left side is your enclosed kitchen, which is very quite rare, not easy to find nowadays for a 2-bed 2-bath. Like I said, anything that is launched in 2017-1819 period, now that the TOP, they are mostly linear kitchen. They are not easy to find. Not easy to find a cut-in U-shape enclosable kitchen. I'm also pretty sure that in Treasures at Tampines, the 2-bed 2-bath layout is a linear kitchen and not a enclosable one. Right in front of that, okay, is your dining area. If you're adventurous and if you don't mind, just behind the fridge as well as the washer area, right, you can convert it into a glass panel if you want to, and reorganize a bit so that you can allow some light to enter into your enclosed kitchen, and this will make the whole kitchen look very very grand, in fact. And then you can also sort of like see people in front of your dining area. Yeah, if you can visualize this with me. Okay, moving forward, you have quite an ample space before you reach your second bathroom. Okay, and then your master bedroom is on the right side. As of now, I also have been asking the developer team whether they have exact measurements of the 2-bed 2-bath layouts. So once I get it, if you're keen to find out more, please contact me at the comment section below so that I can reach out to you to give you the exact measurements. But as of now, today that I did the video, they didn't release any information yet. If not, I got a measuring instrument. We can go to the show flat and measure together. Okay, so like I said, living hall space, I think shouldn't be that shabby. It should be around 3 meters thereabouts. So the width should be around 3 meters thereabouts to be comfortable, and then leading up to the balcony. And right now, what I like about harmonized plots is that the balconies are more efficient nowadays. They are not overly sized. And in fact, if you are just a couple starting up, you can also have your dining space in the balcony area, overlooking the pool area. So you can free up some space at the designated dining in the layout itself. Okay, so likewise, you have your master room on the right and your bedroom on the left. It depends on which layout you go for. So there are 3 different kinds of layout, 3 different sizes. As of now, sorry, no measurements, so I can't exactly tell you what is where exactly is the difference in the length. But if you want to find out more, please contact me. I'll share with you. I'm happy to share with you. Okay, in the 2-bedroom 2-bath segment, there's also 4 and 5, so there are a total of 5 different layouts altogether. The 5th one being the most generic one. If you can see, it is bigger. It's not the 678 square feet, it's the 721 square feet. Okay, also comes with an enclosed kitchen, except that the bedrooms are not dumbbell in layout. They are linear, the typical, like a typical 3-room HDB layout, whereby your rooms are all tucked to the left or to the right, depending on the facing that you choose, away from the living space lah. Okay. Now on to the 3-bedroom layouts. I think the 3-bedroom layouts are quite interesting, and I hope they are also budget friendly, because looking at the size of 926, 936 and 947, hopefully they will land in a price range of maybe 2 million, slightly more, 2.1, hopefully not up to 2.2. I think this will be a sweet spot for a lot of upgraders budget down the road as well. Okay, so basically for the 926 square feet, in order to achieve this, it is somewhat a dumbbell layout, whereby the bedroom 2 is away from bedroom 3 and the master room. Okay, slightly extended version of the 2-bed 2-bath layout. Okay, then if we look at the other one, 936 square feet, this is slightly a different, a bit of game changer, because the key difference is, if you notice, the kitchen of the 926 doesn't have a window. The bathrooms are all mechanical ventilated, whereas a 936 is something that is more acceptable, because it is very akin to a 4-room HDB kind of layout, whereby your kitchen, you have a window Okay, you can convert this area near the window into a little yard if you want to, instead of doing your work, instead of doing your laundry at the balcony. And then if you notice, your bathroom too has a window, and the bathroom master bathroom also comes with a window. And the interesting fact is that all the bedrooms, the windows are full height window, as compared to the 926 square feet, whereby two of your bedrooms have half a window because of the aircon latch that is required to be placed in front of the bedrooms. Okay, so that's one of the difference. Okay, so if you can go for a 947 square feet, the difference, if you notice, is at the entrance area, depending on how you like your house to be, depending on how you like in terms of feng shui. Because in the 936 square feet, if I don't recall wrongly, some people doesn't like it because they say there's a true, the wind will flow through, which is not so good for feng shui. Some people want a bit of angle so that they can retain the wealth in the house. So if you have a bit more budget, you can choose a 947 square feet C4 or C5, where you have a bit of angled view within at the entrance foyer instead of a see-through. Conversely, it is also true that some of my buyers, they don't like a see-through because they feel that there's no privacy. Any person that does delivery or any one that comes at your doorstep, they can see through right to your all the way to your living, to your balcony already. So there's less privacy. Whereas if you don't mind paying a bit more, you can get this kind of a foyer landing area for the 947, and that is where some of them, if I don't recall wrongly, I've been to a unit at Park Esta. They have such a foyer landing area whereby they do up carpentry work, they do up storages, they do up their shoe cabinet, so that and also a little console before they leave house. So this is how you can utilize the space over for the C4 and C5 at the entrance foyer. Other than that, the rest of the layouts in the living, dining, all the rooms are similar, bathrooms are similar to a 936 square feet layout. Okay, so comparing the 3-bedroom premium, a lot of layouts, right? Just bear with me. But of course, if you ask me, the layouts here, generically, they are very efficient, they are very well thought out, and they are very palatable to most people's, most resale buyers in the secondary market, because I have done, for the past 9 years, seen so many houses, go through with so many buyers, roughly have an idea of what they like and what they don't like. And I would say that generally, Parktown, the developers chose the safe route lah. They didn't do something too fancy, so which is very good. Which is very good for reselling in the future, if you want to resell. Okay, so likewise, the 3-bedroom premium layouts, they are 1066 square feet. They have the main difference, of course, is still at the entrance area, as you can notice. Other than that, the rest of the house are quite befitting. And most importantly, if you can afford up to such a budget, I would say that it is quite safe because you have a home shelter. Some people ask me, Gary, should I pay another 100,000, 150,000 for a home shelter, for a yard, for an additional WC? I would say, if you can, why not? Because you can see the difference in the resale market. You will be able to meet, I would say, a broader group of buyers that really need this configuration, because maybe they have a helper, they are used to this kind of lifestyle, and they really need this. But of course, not saying that the compact layouts are far lesser, because they could also appeal to starting families that can work around their storage solutions. So if you can, of course, go for something slightly more befitting to a family. If not, then a compact layout works fine as well. Okay, so when you come in, likewise, the entrance is slightly different. Okay, also leads to an enclosed kitchen, which has a proper yard and a WC area. Then it leads to the home shelter. Okay, and likewise, the bathrooms are all naturally ventilated, and all the bedrooms have a full height window. Yes, okay. Oh, one thing I want to mention is, if you look at the 3 Premium Plus study, I think you have also heard from some of the some of the content creators, they have mentioned this also. This is very interesting. If you look at the study area, if you zoom in, right, it is actually in between bedroom 2 and the master room. And if you go to the show unit at the show flat, obviously, they actually remove partially this study wall to show you that you can enlarge your master room if you want to at your liberty. And it is quite rare actually to have a study in between the bedrooms, because most of the time the study is is right across next to the bathroom 2, next to the home shelter, or you can only enlarge it and make your dining area look bigger. Okay, so this is quite a flexible arrangement created by developer. And even if you do not want to, it actually serves as a very nice little guest room, helper's quarter, because the helper can immediately serve your kid if they need in bedroom 2. Why do I say so? Because if you notice the study, it has a full height window. And this is actually will be a game changer for a +3+ study in Tampines. If I don't recall wrongly, I don't remember seeing such a layout in most of the condos in Tampines, unless you remodel the house out, the older condos, like you remodel and do something like that. And that is actually quite a hefty cost to consider, especially you have to involve the ID to replan and redraw for you. Okay, so this is actually quite a very rare and interesting layout. And one thing also, if you notice right across from the study, there is a little window over here for the aircon latch. Primarily, it's supposed to serve the aircon servicing. But if you take another approach to look at it, your hallway here is not dark, because there's light coming in. Even though it's from the back at the airwell, there's light coming into the hallway leading up to your bedroom 2 and bedroom 3. And this allows a bit of cross ventilation for the wind to come through if you open the window at the study. If not, if you open a sliding door at the balcony, it allows a cross ventilation to come through. And this is very true because my own house at Wilshire has this configuration. So I understand how it actually lights up the hallway instead of all walls and pillars lah. Okay, so personal experience. All right, next is the 4-bedroom layout. Also gives you everything that you need in a 4-bedroom, and not shortchange you of any differences, except that one thing I might not like is the 4-bedroom is actually at the back of the house. So not so sure how bright or how the windows will bring in light into the 4-bedroom, because to me, usually when I have seen condos in the resale market with the 4th bedroom at the back of the other opposite from the other bedrooms, right, it tends to be a bit darker, not so brightly lit as compared to the rest of the bedrooms. But other than that, the size is very comfortable for a family, because it's 1,400 square feet, right? It can easily be a multi-generation kind of a layout as well. Okay. And as of now, if you ask me, 5 bedrooms, I don't seem to see it in any of the information given by my company or even by the developers. So stay tuned. If you want to get the 5-bedroom layouts, do ping me. I'm more than happy to share it with you, of course. Okay. Finally, done with the layouts. Go into the pricing. Like I said, the layouts really, thanks for bearing with me. They really have quite a fair bit of different layouts. And most importantly, I feel, is to actually go down to the actual show flat, to go and see the show model, to go and see the show unit, to have an exact feel of how the whole finishing, the different kind of interior design that is done to the different unit types. Okay. Finally, we talk about pricing, which is very important. This is one of the determining factor most of the time, whether the buyer will want to buy into the unit, or rather whether the developer is pricing it realistically or is it a bit bullish. Okay, so basically, if we follow what HProp has given us based on the estimated break-even price, it is 885 per PSF for the land cost and to break even is 1,661 based on harmonization. So if we were to calculate based on the pre-harmonization, we should be looking at around 1,805 PSF PPR. Okay, so how does this implicate? I think most people will also have this idea that since the developer bought this land for a lower price, should they sell at a cheaper price also? However, not really very true, because you can see, for example, Emerald of Katong, they has the lowest land price in the whole of the Katong region during that era, but they in the end also launched market price or slightly higher than market price, average PSF 26XX, 27XX. So not exactly true. And also, just to prepare my viewers, this is a unique product, one of a kind. It is somewhat akin to buying a branded product. Technically, all houses are branded lah, because it's millions of dollars, right? But this is really a very game changer in the whole of the condominiums in Singapore. So I would think that the developer, coupled with the success take-up rate in the last few launches, having said, for example, Ori to kickstart the year at 86% sold. Let's pray that developers are not so bullish, but they are still business people. So later I'll give you some guide prices that I feel, but this is just my opinion. They could try a bit higher. Just prepared. Buy something within your budget. Hopefully you get a good ballot number. Buy something within your budget. If not, reach out to me. We can work out something else. Let's see how I can help you to at least get the home of your dream lah. Be it in Tampines, be it anywhere else. Feel free to come and talk to me. Okay, anyway, coming back. So when I do the pricing analysis, of course, we must look at roughly how developer think. They might want to look at the past launches, the past 3 months. How has the results been? And then I took the liberty to choose projects like North Grand, which is done by CDL in October period, not too long ago. They have a more than 80% take-up rate, and that is in Woodlands. 4 minutes to Woodlands South Thomson East MRT line. Then also I took a reference to Beckner House. It is OCR. It is near the, if I'm not wrong, it's Sungai Bedok, Thomson East line also. And then you can see how they fare. Okay, so land bid price for Parktown is 885. North Grand is 900, not too far away. And Beckner House is an M block. It's 1096. Okay, so North Grand has launched, Beckner House has launched, and North Grand average launch price is 2080 in OCR. This is, I would say, the super outskirt already lah. Anything further than Woodlands is JB. Okay, so then if you took reference from Beckner House, which is I would say the outskirts bordering between East Coast and going to Bedok. So I would think that with this average price of 2789 being accepted, people might be a bit premium, or be able to accept this premium of being able to live near East Coast, but not literally in at East Coast itself. So having said that, of these two, right, I think Parktown probably average launch price will be at around 21XX leading up to 22XX. And this will means that if you want to do the average up, starting from prices might be 2,000 to hook you on board, get you to put the check realistically. That's how they usually does it. Then maybe it will bring it up all to 2,300, 2,400. And please don't be surprised that, I was just discussing and I just heard it might be hit 2.5 for some of the better facing, premium facing, or even the higher floors, so that eventually when they average out, it could be around 2.1 and 2.2xx. So of course, having said this, hopefully everyone goes back with the unit of your choice, your favorite, your liking. PSF is important, but most important, you are buying a house. To me, you must feel happy. You're gonna stay in there. And this product is, later I'll come to my conclusion, is really one of a kind. I keep saying it, but I feel that this is really a very different product, and henceforth I also wanted to do a content on this. Okay, so anyway, coming back, so this is how I look at the price analysis for Parktown. Okay, and if I benchmarked it against two other projects that is going to come up, having Oriole of Tampines as a EC, purchase at 271 for the land price, likely launch maybe starting from 1006XX. So usually ECs have like what the minister has said before, right? They sell it at 20 to 30% cheaper than the surrounding condos. So if this theory holds water, okay, so this, I think, Parktown, which is just right beside it, 2 streets away, should be around 22XX, thereabout. Okay, and the next one is another mixed development that is going to come out at Tampines West. Okay, should be at the end of the year. They bought the land at a higher price of 1,000. I don't think they are going to launch cheap. Especially, they're going to take reference from Parktown's take-up rate. And they know that Tampines has a natural upgrader pool, natural audience. So likely, they are also going to launch at a higher price. And my guesstimate, 2.3, 2.4, won't be surprised if we can hit 2.5, being a mixed development in Tampines also. So basically, this is how I look at it versus the new launches. Okay, price analysis versus resale. Okay, I also, since I did up all the condos supply, I also might as well transit in doing the PSF accepted in various condos. And you're going to find something very interesting. Because to me, you can see where people are willing to pay, considering that if I take for example Tampines Trillion, the highest PSF transacted is 1,735, and it is a resale EC, and is even higher than the Alps as well as Santorini and Q Bay. You can see that people already willing to pay for convenience, because Trillion is literally maybe 7, 8 or 9 minutes walk to Tampines Central. So what can we expect if it's a super convenient location like Parktown? What kind of future PSF it can hold? In fact, can it hold water down the road in the secondary market? I think you can see right here from this analysis where people are willing to part their money from lah. Okay, so considering that, also another an analysis that I did is comparing the two recent TOP treasures at Tampines, Park Central, one at 1,006, one at 1,508. Okay, so you can see that the differential is not significant. Park Central recently has a subsale of at 1,006 PSF, and it is even lower than the 20-30% that is supposed to be there for a private and a EC. So what does this mean? To me, on a side note, maybe treasure you can get a good bargain. Okay, even though I'm talking about Parktown, but just at looking at this digress a bit. Okay, anyway, coming back, if I were to add in the 20% kind of price gap, 20-35% kind of price gap, we can expect developers to not go below this price and even try to go above, in fact. Okay, so hopefully developers are willing to want to sell, because they have 1,193 units, right? If they want to hit 60-70%, they should be selling at around 700 to 800 units. And this this hopefully will allow them to price it more realistically on launch day, and then slowly but surely stage up the price, eventually leading on to the sale of the final unit. And this also brings me back to my point of one of my strategies that I will mention in terms of subsale down the road. Because if you notice, the timeline for this project is up to 2030, which is another 5 years from now, and we can easily do subsale on the third or fourth year if you buy on launch day. So what does this mean? Stay tuned and I will show it to you. Okay. Point 7, exit strategy. Like I mentioned, when would you like to exit? Just now, as I mentioned earlier, this is very important because on the third or fourth year, if you do a purchase at the launch, you can actually qualify for a subsale. And when you do a subsale, you can actually benefit from the developer's pricing, because at that point of time, developer would have staged up the price by maybe 20-30% from day one. And that is where, if you put up your unit in the secondary market, I am sure just be a bit of discount, you can get someone to buy it from you, or because on launch day you get to choose a unit that has very good maybe facing, very good floor level, and very good layout, and that is where a resale buyer that also looking at this is willing to part a bit more money to you. So this means that you can actually exit and support the subsale market. If you ask me, this is pretty common in a bit on Treasures, because they also have a lot of units for sale, and also very common at Affinity at Serangoon also, as well as Florence, this and Riverfront. They have shown very strong subsale results, and this is something that you can stand to gain if you are looking to flip. But then I think most likely buyers of Parktown are own stayers. I dare to say 70% own stay, or even maybe up to 80% own stay, because of the way the whole project is being designed and built out. And also when I speak to owners, subsale owners, they also likely would want to say, hey, I collect key first lah. I see the unit, maybe I want to stay, maybe I want to rent out. Yeah, so this is also very common. So you might champion in the subsale market because there's really no listing supply, in fact, down the road in say 2029 or 2029 or 2028. Okay, so this is one of the exit strategies that you can consider. Next up, like I mentioned, HDB organic demand. Around Parktown itself, there is 14,751 new HDB units that will MOP gradually down the road, leading up to 2030. So you will not be shortfall of organic buyers from these clusters. I just have to do not even a 10%, 5% of them upgrading. We are looking at easily 500 possible buyers in this market. Okay, and of course supported by the price of a 4-room transacted at the newly TOP Greenview and Greenreef. 4-room highest sale 810. Okay, so which means their profit margin they are looking at could be around 300, 350 or even 400,000. Okay, 5-room can reach up to 935, almost $1 million. Can you imagine down the road literally hits $1 million? Their profit margins are like 400 to 500,000. Plus, I always tell my buyers, or rather my investors, this group of people, they also save money for the past 5 years, because they can't, in fact more than 5 years, once they buy into the HDB, up to 9 years, because they really can't buy any other property. They are being locked onto their HDB. So easily, this group of buyers, they can actually save another 150 to 250,000, and this brings up their whole equity can be close to almost $1 million plus their CPF. So that is where they have very strong purchasing power, and that is where the resale market will be supported at Parktown itself. Okay. But of course, not bearing the fact that it's not just Parktown that has a condo lah. There's also 12 other condos. Some people like the older ones, they can remodel. Some people like Treasures, because maybe it will look more affordable down the road. So it's anybody's guess. But of course, there is still a strong pool of HDB upgraders surrounding Parktown itself. Okay. And in fact, if you were to zoom in, I went to do a search at the HDB statistics for 2023 and 2024. Do you know that there is actually 82,426 units in Tampines itself and still growing? Okay, so which means that we cannot discount that just the Tampines North cluster. There are also other areas whereby maybe the older flats, they are also equally valuable. They could be bought by young buyers, growing families. They also want to upgrade. So not discounting this group of people that comes from the older part of Tampines also. Okay. So basically, to summarize, finally to the end part of my video, to give some recommendations and some summary of my video. Firstly, thanks for staying with me up till now. I hope the information I provide you is useful. If it's useful, do help me like and subscribe. If you're really keen on finding out more, not just about Parktown, but how I look at the subsequent launches, feel free to contact me in the comment section below. Reach out to you as soon as possible. Okay, so finally coming to my recommendation. I'm very happy actually to do this content to talk about Parktown, because as I dive deeper and find out more, I really realized that it is very unique. It is very unique, one of a kind, probably the only one that is possible in Singapore, because Tampines has such a big piece of land, right? If we flip side to the west, you look at Tengah, not so sure whether the government want to have something like that at Tengah or not. It's also a place whereby there's a lot of new HDB coming up. So maybe this is a test bed. If it's successful, probably they want to do something at Tengah. Probably not so sure. But for now, there's no other competitors of this size. Okay, integrated developments I feel are getting more and more popular, especially when I see the transaction rates taking up at Watertown, the Woodleigh, Sengkang Grand, even at North Park. Back then when we are selling at 1,500-1,600 PSF in 2018, is considered very high at Yishun itself. So but then it transits to very good resale support, and I think this is a concept that that is very well accepted by buyers down the road. And of course, like I mentioned earlier in the video, if you have missed it, safety for family with kids is one of the main concern. They can allow their kid to go down and buy things and come up straight through one lift. One more thing I mentioned is that the lift at your block likely is straight through all the way down. You can have access to basement or level 1, which is where the mall is. Then they can just come up straight away. But of course, there's security, like, you have to tap a card to come back to your unit. But anyhow, this is something that I think is a game changer when I was listening to at the briefing at the show flat. Okay, so 7-in-1 community landmark, incomparable convenience, and also like safety for the kid. Don't have to cross any road to get around. Then transformation of Tampines North. Basically, there's lack of condo in Tampines North area, unless you drive down towards Bedok Reservoir. Other than that, within that cluster itself, it will only be Parktown, then Oriole, and Tenet. So Tenet probably TOP in the next 2 years, another 5 years later. So 7 years later, then they can sell. So also no supply. Oriole just started launch this year. You plus another 4 years, 5 years, 9 years later, then they can sell. So literally, there is no secondary market supply in the Tampines North region. Okay, which should be a game changer as well. Okay, basically, if you have followed up since last year or even 2023, 2024, there's really undersupply of OCR condos to meet with the organic domestic demand from HDB upgraders or EC upgraders. Basically, I have served clients from Punggol, Sengkang, Hougang. Literally, it's not easy to find a unit of 3-bedroom, 4 bedrooms along this MRT line, even though we try to move up towards Woodleigh, Potong Pasir, but of course the price will run a fair bit also. So literally, in the housing area, I dare to challenge you, unless you move backwards to Pasir Ris, maybe you have a bit more choice. If not, if you move down the MRT line, Tanah Merah, Simei, Bedok, and up to Kembangan, there's not a lot of 3-bedroom choices of regular layouts that people might like. And they might be asking for a slightly higher price in the resale market, because owners also know that there's not a lot of supply. And also, these owners also only have one unit. So if they want to sell and upgrade, they also have to call for a premium of sorts. So what I'm trying to say is, if you can get a 3-bedroom compact, you can get a family size unit, go for it. I'm sure you'll be very well rewarded down the road when it TOPs. I'm sure if you'll be enjoying staying there. If not, you'll have a good pool of resale buyers coming in. Okay, and finally, I don't usually talk about it, but I start to also realize that strong developer product quality actually is also one of a critical factor in the resale market. Okay, so this is something that is done by UOL, by Capital Land. They have a good reputation, and most importantly, also I believe UOL will do a very good defect check, and this allows your unit to be in a very good condition to move into stay, or eventually down the road if you stay for a long time. Okay, and of course, not forgetting giving good and efficient functional layouts that comes with a good form and of course landscaping to create the overall feel for buyers, which is very important in the secondary market as well. Even if not, I'm sure you feel very comfortable staying at Parktown Residences. So this is the end of my video. Thank you for sitting in with me. Again, if you want to have a look at the show flat, you know who to call. If not, I will see you in my next video. And last off, Happy Chinese New Year to everyone. 恭喜发财，画啦，拜拜。